Hello, mate.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Evening, rather.
Hi, Grant. How are you?
Evening.
Oh, not too bad.
Not long to
Oh,
you now. It's getting
Indeed. Fine.
yeah, I've got your games. I just need some minutes to put them up, Grant.
No
But,
worries, Chris. Thanks.
there is one proviso. I'm going to have to Friday afternoon because I've got 2 tables left in the whole building.
Have
Just
we
check what that game is. But that has to be fine if it's Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
have we booked
Okay.
tables as well, Chris?
Sorry?
The tables in the restaurant as well.
No. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I contingency.
Yes, that's great.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Hey, Richard.
I was having a bit of a senior moment trying to log on.
Oh, don't. Sound was the one thing I had trouble connecting. How am I ahead of Chris in this list?
It's just recently. It sort of moves you up as you interact.
It was a new year. I hope everybody got through it fairly painlessly.
Not too bad, thanks.
Yeah.
Good,
I've
good.
had a lot worse.
I am free of cold for the first time in 4 weeks. Just to
Oh,
go back to
God.
work tomorrow.
You as well.
Yeah.
I
Perfect
went,
timing. Idea was for this to be like a question and answer session for any questions people have about contingency. So does anybody have any questions about contingency? Go on then.
why can't it be 2 weeks?
Because 1 week is enough for those of
We
us
can't
who
all
can
lose time to illness
organise.
that way.
It exhausts us.
Yeah. Another week of it. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, week. It's a good week though.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the
That's why we keep doing it.
it's the
Okay.
Everybody's
That got posted on the
pretty much
group.
Mark's got his hand up.
experienced.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, sweet, cool. It wasn't glowing up. So I've never been to contingency before. Can I just get a TLDR on how the like running games there is likely to work? I'm still umming and ahhing whether I'm gonna be prepped in time to run a game, so more impromptu before doing Warhorn.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So I'm Chris. I'm in charge of all the games. So basically, we have a two system. There's a pre-sign up system. That's what Warhorn is. Warhorn, I just use it to gather the games that want pre-sign ups, people who like to know that they've got and who they want in their game. And then that is from that pile the sign up sheets. So as soon as I close Warhorn, which will be the week before, all right, then it works on the system that it then goes into a filing cabinet by slot. And then as soon as you come to the convention, Mark, we will take in game sheets. As soon as the help desk is virtually open, and what we're trying to do, Carol and I try and do, is we try and have the help desk semi-open on the Tuesday afternoon, to actually start taking in game sheets.
And we have blank sign. We have bits
Yeah.
at the desk. So if you want to run a game, you come to the desk and ask us for a sheet and we will give it to you. And you can then fill it in with the game details. So we'd need to know the system, the scenario title, a brief synopsis, and if there are any triggers or warnings or age-related content that people need to know about when signing up. And then once you've filled it in, you bring it back to the desk and we then take care of it from there.
So when you're back, they will ask you whether or not you need a table in the area, or whether or not you need a table, or you're going to run it in your lodge. Okay. And what we do advise is no obligation to run a game. If you want to run a game, we advise that you try and get it at least 24 hours before. We've had games that turn up sort of like the slot before, and by that time people have chosen their games. Now, a lot of the time, people then sign up on Warhol, and then once they get the sheets up on the board, they actually might move around. So generally, even though the name is typed in,
It's a bit fluid.
It's a bit fluid.
Because people.
And we've got lots of GMs who come every year, and they will dump about 12 games on us on a Tuesday.
I think it's also worth flagging up that most of the Warhorn have a couple of slots for sign up once it goes on the wall.
Some do.
So-
But from a GM's point of view, if you feel like running the game, come at least give it more than 24 hours. The games go up on the wall 4 slots ahead, so it's 24 hours plus half a day. So it's about 18, before they go up to give people the chance. What we don't want to do is what we used to have at conception, because that used to make me so stressed at conception, the fact that people used to go and sign up 10 minutes into a game and wanted to. So that's why we give them the option of pre-sign up. At the moment, 97 games on Warhorn. They were about between a third and a half of what the games actually get played. So,
most of it is sign up at the event.
Sign up at the event. And people change it, and it's also worth turning up at muster. Normally by the end of the week, some people unfortunately come down sick, or some people just say, do you know what, I'd rather have this slot off, and they will cross their name out. So games do free up.
Right, so
Mark.
I was just going to a GM. You decide you want to run a game. You go to the admin table and collect a sign-up sheet, fill it in with the details of the game, and return it to the admin desk, preferably a day before, but as far before as you can, although occasionally we will put out a call for extra games if there are no slots left available. And then about a day before the game is due to run, we put the sign-up sheets on the walls. As you come into the gaming area, the walls are there, so everybody will walk past them to get into the bar or the main gaming area. People write their names on, so you see who the players are. And then when it's the game slot start time, we call muster to get the players and the GMs matched up, and you go to wherever your game's running.
Perfect.
What are you thinking of running?
Triangle Agency or Dust City Outlaws are my 2 ones I'm leaning towards.
Cool.
Depending on whether I want weird or heists.
Cool. Sounds good. It's always good to have games that aren't already in the schedule. I think we've got lots of different games already registered.
Got over 90 different systems at the moment. 90.
For something new and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Have questions? Oh, Becca.
It would be my first time coming to a con like this. How does it work?
Okay. Are you staying on site?
I've gamed for a long time on this sort of lastminute.comming it. So
fair enough. Well, you don't have to. There is lots of like B&Bs and like around Hunstanton. So the first thing to do is to get there. If you have particular games you want to play, or you want to be sure that you've got games at various times, you can use Warhorn to pre-book your games. Warhorn, we've shared the link on the group and on the Discord. I can share it again here if anybody needs it.
I have. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Chris. And if you go to the Warhorn page, you can see what games are running in which slots, and you can put your name in to play the games you want to play that are currently listed. As Chris has already said, that's usually only about a third to a half of the games running. A lot of GMs do it more on the fly, or they just go with what they feel like once they're there. So when you come in, you'll see lots of paper sheets stuck up on the walls, and they will be the different games that are available. Generally, we take games off the board the slot before they're due to run if they're full. So if you're there on Thursday morning and you want a game for Thursday afternoon and you see there aren't many up on the wall, don't think that's all the games that are happening. It means that we've already started processing for the next slot. We also try and keep the full games towards the bottom or the top of the board, so the ones with spaces are kind of eye level-ish and you can see them more easily.
Bearing in mind mine and Carol's eye level.
Yeah, so about 5'2".
Probably about 5'2", yeah.
Put your name, write it in the spaces on the sign-up sheet. There are spaces for the number of players. It will tell you what game system it is, who the GM is, where it's running, and a bit brief description and any potential triggers that you should be aware of. We don't stop people running adult or, you know, quite traumatic games. We just want to make sure that people know that's what they're getting in for. So that's the only reason we have the warning section there. And then when the game session is due to start, we meet up in the big area just outside the gaming area. And whoever is doing the muster will call the game and the name of the players and match you up with the GM, and then they will take you to the table. At some point before the end of the game, you need to give your GM a player ticket. The tickets are available from the admin desk. They are £3, and that is what it costs you to pay a game. And back to us at the end of the game, and we give them a reward ticket, which they can exchange for ice cream or raffle tickets or spend on one of the stalls. And that's pretty much it. It's fairly straightforward. If you have any trouble at all working it out, there is always somebody at the admin desk. So come over and whoever is there will be able to help make sure that you find a game that you like. Generally speaking, the people on the desk are fairly experienced gamers. So if you say, I want to play something light and silly, or I want to play something that's pirates or space rangers or whatever, we can help match you up with a game that you like. We also have a register on the desk of where all the different games are taking place. So if you miss muster and you don't know where your game is, if you come to us, we can generally find it for you. That's fairly straightforward.
Is it a cash economy or is it?
We do have a card reader, so you can come along and buy your game tickets with a card. Cash is also fine. You'll probably want cash for things like the bring and buy and what have you anyway, but there is a card reader that we can use for either of those.
The next question is, where's the nearest ATM? Which is probably why the most there is an ATM in the reception, but it's one you have to pay for. The nearest free ATM is actually across the road from the holiday park at the Tesco's store. They got an ATM.
So is it worth? Oh, sorry. Is it worth putting up something on the bring and buy, basically saying this is cash?
It's fine with card. We just
yeah.
Okay.
You know it more than I do. It's just a thought.
No, we use card for the bring and buy. I mean, it may cause a headache for us cashing out on Sunday, but I didn't think it did last year.
No, it was fine. We stay on top of it. We keep a track of how much money's come in, so we make sure that we've got money there to cash out. James posted a very helpful comment. One of the other things you can get from the admin desk is the convention diary, which is a sheet of A4 with all the different game slots written in, so you can put down what games you're playing and where, so you know where you're supposed to be at any time. Thanks for that, James.
That's amazing. I had another question. It's now gone completely out of my head because I'm at that age.
Don't worry. Like I said, there's always people there who can help. So if you get stuck, come to the desk. That's always manned from 8:30 in the morning until midnight. So
that's my question. Mark's just asked it. How do you bring stuff to the bring and buy? Do you have to pre-register or
there is a form?
The bring and buy is also forms at the desk. The bring and buy is right next to the admin desk, so we can always get forms for you. You can get them in advance. I will put up the latest form on Facebook and on the Discord in advance. If you don't use those, feel free to drop me an email and I can send it to you. It's not pre-registered, we do it all there, but again, we start taking them on the Tuesday afternoon before the bring and buy is open. Teresa will be there doing sign-ups, so you can drop
Late
your stuff
Tuesday
off.
afternoon.
Yeah,
and-
Teresa's already said that
Yeah.
she'll be there Tuesday
Yeah.
afternoon. So you can bring your stuff, we'll process it, we'll give you the numbers, and then it gets put out in the bring and buy area. Generally speaking, you can then come back whenever you feel like to check if your items have sold, but we do need them to be either sold or collected before the middle of the day on Sunday, because the bring and buy area is going to be where the raffle prizes are laid out. We are doing things a bit differently for the raffle this year, so this might be news for everybody. The whole calling a million numbers and having people rummaging around takes far too long. So we are going to just select some of the nicest prizes to call live. Everything else, we will put a ticket on and stick it in the bring and buy area. So you'll be able to come at your own convenience, bring your tickets, look at what's there and pick up anything you've won. There will be people there who can check for you and help and what have you. We will still do a small live called raffle because it gives us a chance to let you know how the fundraising has gone, what we're giving to charity, and to say thank you to all the GMs and volunteers who make it all happen. So that will still be just before the afternoon games start, but it should be shorter because we're doing it this way. Does that kind of make
Will
sense?
there be a printed out list of the who's won what, or the numbers that have won what somewhere else, as opposed to having to walk through the whole damn thing?
We will have that at what was the bring and buy desk and will now be the raffle collection desk.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Just something else that, from a gamer perspective, look after yourself. If you're there all week, I mean, if you get there like I do,
don't sign up to everything and try and burn yourself out. It's really easy to do for a week-long gaming.
Yeah, because by Thursday you'll just pile in. My take on it now is no more than two games a day, and don't put them both in sections straight after each other. So, try and go morning and evening, or one in the afternoon, and play something in your lodge. It's really easy, especially if you've not done many conventions before, like I hadn't. I've only this is like my 7th or 8th one, to burn yourself out by 2 days in, and then not ruin the rest of it. That's not the right word, but feel like you're on constant catch up, and by Sunday
you run out of the energy to share with the table quite quickly.
Yeah.
You've also get home again safely, and that's part and parcel of.
Yeah.
There's bar, and then there's access to food on site in terms of the bar food. There's also a restaurant when we're not using it for gaming.
And the lodges have well-equipped kitchens, so you can prepare your own food if you're doing it on a budget.
And there's Tesco's across the way, and we always say, look after yourself, sleep well, drink well, drink water.
Not everybody does. There are a lot of people who will go crazy, either run games or play games in every slot, and then spend the next month recovering. And if that's what you want to do, we're not going to stop you. It's not sensible.
Yeah.
Just one last question. Sorry, James. I don't Discord because it eats my life. Is that going to?
Everything gets posted on the Facebook group and on Discord, and at the event, like I said, the admin desk is there and the information is all there as well. You shouldn't need Facebook or Discord during the event unless you're like looking to meet up with people or things that you're doing privately anyway. The actual convention itself doesn't require it.
But I think that's about it.
Yeah. James, what was your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to check in. I know in previous years there's been like a towel donation, other things at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Is that going to be happening again this year?
It is indeed. A lot of people travel by train or plane or various other means of public transport and don't want to have to carry towels with them. So Phil has already bought us this year's supply of towels. They will be available from Tuesday in the admin desk area, and then if you return them at the end, they get donated to the local food bank, so they are reused by people who can really benefit from them. I think last year or the year before, the food bank wasn't taking them, so they went to a women's refuge in Peterborough instead. But basically, we will make sure that they go somewhere where they are useful. And if you've done the cooking for your own group in your lodge, anything that isn't opened that you don't want to carry back with you, we can also collect and take to the food bank, and there will be a box for that from Sunday as well. For you?
I always end up with food left over in the fridge and stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
a lot of people do. And the first year we did it, there was lots of people throwing out food because they couldn't carry it home or trying to give it to other people. So the food bank seemed like a great idea. And one of the lovely reception ladies at Searles actually volunteers at the food bank on her days off. So it's really easy for them to collect it and make use of it. Nice people the team at Searles are. They are so helpful. It's unbelievable.
The staff at Searles are lovely.
They really are.
They've done so much for us, like building ramps for disability access on short notice.
Yeah, and
the other thing is they love us.
They're great.
They absolutely adore us.
You guys are so nice to them. Apparently, when they have being a holiday park, there are always little issues with accommodation and the like, things that go wrong and have to be fixed. But apparently we don't give them any grief. We say thank you when they've sorted it out, rather than going and shouting at them for an hour beforehand. So yeah, they think you guys are amazing. Oh, yes, Mark.
Yeah, so just a question regarding children, and it's just more to set my expectations. Are kids allowed, are we going to have children signing up for games as well, or is it a adults only thing?
It's
not an
definitely
issue,
not.
just more
It's
of
definitely not an adults only thing. We do have children on site, but we don't tend to get many of them signing up for the role-playing games. The board games tend to be played quite a bit by kids, and the site has a really nice swimming pool with a splash zone, which is amazing for younger kids. And there's also a soft play area that we can get opened up if people want it. It's number of children there the last few years, but my grandsons usually come along for the weekend, so I can vouch for how good the stuff is.
Mark, if you're worried about a kid signing up for your game, that's why we say, can you actually state whether or not you've got a minimum age?
Yeah, it won't be a problem. It's just just to prep myself, like I'm fine running 4 kids if they crop up, but also my nephew is like half an hour down the road, so I might check it out for next year as well.
Yeah, they're always welcome, and we've got, I would say minimum age is 16, minimum age is 18, and I'm also wary about where they're actually held, so we try and put them in somewhere that's not a main thoroughfare, so kids walking past are not going to hear the jets shooting everywhere and things like that. And generally, if people want a bit more of a mature game, they do tend to playing the lodges. So
that way you can be as graphic as you like. And it's not going to upset anybody. But yeah, I mean, I think Jen has run some kids games in the past, and a couple of other people have done games where they've had like puppets and things that are great for kids. If you've got kids there looking for a game, if you let us know, we can usually find GMs who are happy to accommodate, and we'll even schedule things specifically. We are extremely lucky with the GMs that come and volunteer for us. You won't find a better bunch of people and a better caliber of games anywhere. They are just phenomenal. And like I said, a lot of them are happy to specifically run for kids. I know CJ's got some child-friendly games. I know Gary's got some Doctor Who games, and he does aliens in the style of Scooby-Doo or Tintin and things like that. So there are options there, but we will make sure that games with younger players are away from all the gore and such like.
Okay. So Becky, you say, do you need to bring rule books with you? Right. Now, what GMs tend to do is they tend to assume that the players don't have the rule books with them. All right. Unless it's an organised play like Pathfinder or Starfinder or the Living Arcanist games, maybe not even them with you. So they will have the rule books.
Pre-gens, it tends to be that you bring your dice and you bring whatever else you want.
Pencil and an imagination. That's all they ask that you put. If you need to be something specific, they will put it on the actual game sheet. There's such a variety of games. Like I said, at the moment we're at 90 plus systems. We can't expect you to bring 90 plus books.
We're also halfway expecting the GMs to kind of at least teach the system as we go through, because a lot of these things we've never heard of. So hopefully it works that way.
The GMs will assume you've never played that game before.
And if you want to just clue them in that you've never played it before, if it is something that they might expect you to be familiar with, if you tell them, they will make sure that they help you through it. Like I said, the GMs are amazing. They will be really, really helpful. Question?
Yeah, just very minor ones. Firstly, just idle curiosity. Roughly how many people come to Contingency?
Last year it was, I think, about 700.
Wow. It narrows to the table as soon as you're there. So
yeah, absolutely. You never manage to
feel like it, does
everybody. I think the lowest we've had is about 400 when we first started, and it's creeping up year on year.
Once you put 20 or 30 tables together, you realize just how many numbers go up.
Yeah. I imagine so. Speaking of the which, you put a call out for volunteers for a couple of days recently. Do you still need slots? Will you be shouting?
We have a full complement of volunteers now, but we can always use people coming over to, let people go and take a break and things like that. So if you've got a bit of free time, do feel free to swing past. And cool and groovy volunteer t-shirts this time, so they've got ducks on them. And rather than saying volunteer, it says servitor of the duck overlords.
Nice.
A little bit too true.
Well, my one says responsible adult.
The day manager one says responsible adult, and it's got servitor of the duck overlords on the back. They left me unsupervised.
Yeah.
That would have been the backup phrase, I suspect.
I got my Viking duck for Christmas off Ness.
Excellent, I love it.
Becky's probably going to have is why ducks?
Yeah, bring duck food.
So we have when you come to sales, you'll find that there's certain residents who will, if you actually stay on site, they will come and knock on your door, and that is their contingency of mallard ducks. So that's why we took on, because there are a few families of ducks on site, and they are not shy at coming forward. So we will be selling duck food on the desk as we normally do.
Yeah, the first year we were there, people kept posting what they were feeding the ducks, and I'm looking at it thinking that can't be very good for these ducks. They can't live on custard creams and the like. So we started getting duck food in.
So they eat better than the gamers most of the time.
They do indeed.
Or at least more on the right type.
The gulls like leftover curry. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, they're not that fussy, but it's nice. Again, it's one of the things my grandsons absolutely love, is to go out and feed the ducks. So having the duck food is going to keep on happening.
Excellent. Other things that are on the help desk, there are sort of, if you're in the lodges, sort of we'll have scrubbing pan, scourers, and do other bits and pieces.
Dishwasher tablets, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we try and make it as easy for you as possible. So if there's something that would be useful, let us know and we can usually get it sorted. But having smaller things of washing up liquid, because people didn't want to have to go out and buy a big bottle just for a week and things like that.
When are you going to be putting out the lodge numbers and everything for anybody who's booking food deliveries? And
over next week.
Brilliant, thank you.
I've got to confirm the names of who's in each lodge by the end of the week, so I will be collating information at the same time. They have had the list of what lodges are booked and they're happy with it. I've not had any amendments so far this year, so fingers crossed it stays that way. It's possible that there will be a couple, because you sometimes get maintenance issues that mean lodges get taken out of service at short notice. But
if it doesn't have heating, I think you prefer one that does.
Exactly, especially in the weather that we've got at the moment with the cold and everything. But yeah, your lodge numbers next week. If you need them sooner, drop me an email and I can find it for you. I just don't have the confirmation from Searles with all the names on it yet. So
yeah,
another question.
Sorry.
It's all right. Sorry, I live for questions.
Oh no, best way.
Are there any spaces left on site at the moment, or
a few?
Main thing is that they're done by lodges. So I don't know, Carol, are there any individual rooms type, shared lodge type plans?
I know that there are a couple of people who have been looking for people to share. Ben Savoy and Nikki Barnes have both said they've got rooms that they're looking to find someone to split with them. But I can still book extra lodges if more people want accommodation on site. So it is not a problem.
Couple of different routes.
Yeah, and we can add them literally up until the day before, so it's not too late, so long as we haven't completely sold out. And we haven't completely sold out. I think we have 4 lodges left, and they're all the.
So if I put on the Facebook group that I want,
does anyone have a spare room, or what options are around?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nikki is still looking for someone. So, if you message me your email address, I can pass it on to her so you can liaise. Questions or comments or what have you that people had, just in case anyone wants to watch the recording later. How to use Warhorn. Can you run a purchase module? Absolutely. We have no problem with people running purchase scenarios, and a lot of people run their own homebrew. Top tips for beginnings to GM, we can do that separately. Game tickets we've covered. The accommodation, I might do that as a separate post. Thing that people had asked previously, and I need to keep this short enough that I can upload it to YouTube for people to watch back. So unless anyone's got anything else, I think we should wind up about here, and then we'll see you all in just a couple of weeks. Hurrah!
Hurrah, hurrah.
Thank you all very much indeed. See you in 3 weeks.
Yeah, thank you
everyone
for joining. Your questions.
Good
And
night.
Becky,
Thank you.
let us know if you get stuck. We're there to help. And Mark as well, of course. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take
Good
care.
night.
See you soon.